So, here's a question for you. What does it actually mean to be alive? I know, it sounds super simple, but when you really stop and think about it, that line between what's living and what's not, well, it can get surprisingly blurry. So, let's dive into this and see if we can crack life's secret code together.
Okay, take a look at this. It's a snail shell, right? It doesn't move, it doesn't eat, it doesn't breathe. I mean, by all accounts, it just seems like a simple, non-living object, something you'd find on the ground. But is that the whole story?
You know, this exact question really puzzled two students, Avahati and Ayush, when they were on a morning walk. They found a shell, and their mom explained it was actually part of a living snail, and that just sparked their curiosity. How could this hard, totally still object be connected to a living, moving being? It's a fantastic question, and it really gets to the heart of our whole mystery.
And just to make things a little more complicated, think about this. A car moves, right? But we all agree it isn't alive. Meanwhile, a plant, it barely seems to move at all, yet we know for a fact that it's living. So movement alone can't be the answer, can it? We've got to dig a little deeper.
Okay, so let's put on our detective hats. To solve this puzzle, we're going to investigate 7 key characteristics, what you might call the 7 signs that scientists use to define what life is. Think of them as the clues that will help us finally tell the difference between the living and the non-living.
So, our very first clue is movement. And on the surface, this one seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? We see animals walk and fly and swim all the time. It's just the ability to change location. But, like that car example showed us, this clue, well, it can be a bit tricky on its own.
And this is exactly where our definition of movement needs to get a little broader. See, while animals move from one place to another, plants often move in place. Just think of a sunflower, how it tracks the sun all day, or a vine slowly climbing a wall, or even a Venus flytrap snapping shut on an insect. It's absolutely still movement, just, on a different, much subtler scale.
Our second sign of life is growth. And listen, the key word here is irreversible. Living things don't just get bigger for a little while. They go through a permanent increase in size over time. It's a one-way street, this process of developing from young to old.
Think about it like this. Can you fit into the clothes you wore 4 years ago? Probably not, right? And that's because you've grown. That irreversible increase in your size is a fundamental characteristic of being a living thing. A car doesn't grow, but you sure do.
Okay, next up we have nutrition and respiration. You can think of these as life's fuel and its engine. All living things need to take in food or nutrients to get the energy they need to grow and move around. And then respiration is the process of unlocking that energy, like when we breathe in air. They're really just two sides of the same coin, getting the energy and then using the energy.
So if you're taking things in, it only makes sense that you also have to get rid of waste, and that's called excretion. For us, it might be something like sweating on a hot day. For plants, it can be super subtle, like those tiny little droplets of excess water and minerals that appear on the edges of their leaves, kind of like what you see on blades of grass in the morning.
Living things don't just exist. They interact with the world around them. They respond to stimuli. If you accidentally touch a hot stove, you pull your hand away instantly, right? That's a response. And a plant does this too. The touch-me-not plant folds up its leaves when you touch it, and a sunflower literally turns its head to follow the sun across the sky.
Now for our final sign, and it's arguably the most profound one, reproduction. This is the amazing ability to create new individuals of the same kind. A car can't build another car, but cats have kittens, and huge oak trees produce tiny acorns. This is how life keeps going, passing its secret code from one generation to the very next. All right, so we've got our 7 signs. Case closed, right? Well, not so fast. Our investigation has a brand new and kind of deceptive suspect, the seed. I mean, it doesn't move, it doesn't eat, it doesn't seem to grow or do anything at all. It basically fails almost all of our tests.
So this brings us to a really fantastic puzzle. Based on our checklist, a seed seems totally non-living, but we all know that can't be the whole picture. So what are we missing here?
Here's the secret. A seed isn't dead, it's dormant. It's just holding the potential for life inside. It's basically waiting for the right conditions to show up. And when it gets water to soften up that tough outer coat, air for energy, and just the right amount of light or darkness, well, that's when the magic happens. Life awakens.
You know, that little seed teaches us a really crucial lesson. Life isn't just a snapshot in time. It's a journey. It's a whole process that unfolds over time, following a very specific blueprint. So let's take a look at a few of these incredible journeys, what scientists call life cycles.
Let's start with our bean seed. From that little dormant object, it germinates. Then it grows leaves, then beautiful flowers, and finally it produces a pod that's full of new seeds. The journey comes full circle, ready to start the whole thing all over again. It's this perfect continuous loop of life.
But the journey can also involve a really dramatic transformation. Just look at the mosquito. It starts as an egg in the water, then it hatches into this little worm-like larva, then it changes into a pupa that tumbles around in the water and finally emerges as a flying adult. Its appearance, its body shape, even where it lives, it all changes completely.
And the frog's journey is just as amazing. It begins as a jelly-like egg or spawn. It hatches into a tadpole, a creature that literally lives and breathes in water, swimming with its tail. Then it slowly transforms, growing legs, losing its tail, and developing lungs to become a froglet, and then finally an adult frog that can live on both land and in water. That is a fundamental change in its entire way of being. So, after our whole investigation, after looking at our 7 signs and these incredible life journeys, what's our final verdict? What have we really learned about this secret code of life?
Well, we've confirmed our 7 essential characteristics. A living thing is going to exhibit these traits at some point in its life cycle. This is the code. This is the definitive checklist that helps us understand the true nature of life itself.
But maybe the biggest takeaway of all is this. Life isn't a static property. It's not just about what something is in one single moment. No, it's a process. It's that whole journey from a seed to a plant, or from a tadpole to a frog. It is a dynamic, unfolding, incredible story.
And that leads us with one last fascinating question to just chew on for a bit. A wooden log was clearly, once upon a time, part of a living tree. It fulfilled all the criteria, but now it doesn't. So, when did that change happen? At what exact moment does life's dynamic process truly come to an end? Now that's something to think about.